the 20th of January, 2026. This is the view I'm getting of Jupiter right now. You can barely see the banding. I'm using the f4, of course, and it doesn't have quite the optics of f8. Full semi-apochromatic eddy. This is El Quattro, of course, and I never expected to give as sharp a view of the planets as I would through the 150 millimeter refractor. However, I thought I'd call it up since it's looming so bright about maybe 25 degrees above the horizon at 5:42 in the evening. This will be our kickoff view, and then I'm going to go off and make a change in the schedule tonight. I'm going to capture all the far north galaxies, and there's quite a few of them, about 22 in Perseus, that are part of the NGC 1250 to 1299 series this evening. And I'm going to have to get an early start simply because everything is racing sidereally to the west. Okay, we're getting a bit of an early start. It's now 10 minutes to 6, and with sidereal time progressing as the season goes on, this is the best I can do. Actually, we're starting with NGC 50, a galaxy in Perseus. I will be pursuing all the far northern galaxies first. Its magnitude 12.8 should be somewhere on the screen. Edgy on 2.1 by 0.9 arc-minute lenticular spiral, and I think we are seeing it right in the center. I did do an alignment to Burfak in Perseus. So here is our 100% view. Not bad on the stars. We are getting lots of stacks, none ignored. Doesn't look like an edgy on to me, however, but I must push on. Once again, lenticular spiral, 278 million light years distant, RA3 1521 with a declination of plus 41, 21, 18. Click away to NGC 1271. NGC 1271 is a galaxy once again in Perseus, magnitude 14.1, but quite small. Let's go back to 75x just for a checkout. So it's 0.5 by 0.2 arc minutes. Should be a bit edgy. Spiral of lower lenticular class, so bright core, 262 million light years distant, probably puts it at about 40,000 light years in diameter. Right ascension 3, 19, 11 with a declination of plus 41, 21, 10. Let's have a look at that 150x field. Ooh, interesting series of stars. Very S-shaped off over here. That's probably our galaxy, but confirmed with Steve Gottlieb. Okay, here we should see the brightest galaxy in the group. It's NGC 1272. There could be a brighter one. In Perseus, magnitude 11.8, 2.2 by 2 arc-minute lenticular, class 0, of course. 182 million light years distant, puts it about 110,000 light years in diameter. It's near the core of this group. It's probably this galaxy right here. Right ascension 3, 19, 21 with a declination of plus 41, 29, 26. Let's settle on this for a second while I look up our next study, because this is probably the core of the galaxy group. The next galaxy will be NGC 1273 in Perseus, magnitude 13.2, 0.9 by 0.9 arc-minute lenticular spiral. Remember, we're going to be progressing to the east, and this is probably our 1273. Lenticular, 243 million light years distant, right ascension 3, 19, 26 with a declination of plus 41, 32, 24. That's our 150x view. Let's see if there's something else popping up. Yeah, this is probably quite close as well. NGC 1274 is a galaxy in Perseus. Magnitude 14.1, 0.4 by 0.2 arc-minute elliptical class 3. They do tend to condense gravitationally over time. 292 million light years distant, puts this probably around 40,000 light years in diameter. We're at RA3 1940 with a declination of plus 41, 32, 56. I am going to go ahead and press the Go To button. Let's see how far it jumps. And not far at all. Okay, here is the section of this Perseus Galaxy group that features NGC 1274 data previously adumbrated. There is, in fact, an even brighter galaxy in the Perseus group, NGC 1275, probably this one here. Magnitude 11.9, 2.3 by 1.6 arc minutes, satisfies me. Lenticular spiral, 239 million light years distant, probably about 180,000 light years in diameter. RA 31948, declination plus 4130, 42. Slightly further east, we proceed to NGC 1277. Let's get that aesthetic view at 75x first. Same galaxy group. Magnitude 13.5, 0.8 by 0.3 arc minutes. Proceeding to the east, of course, generally. Spiral, the lowercase a, the brightest core, 226 million light years distant, maybe 70,000 light years in diameter. RA 31951, declination plus 4134, 24. Okay, another galaxy in the group without progressing, NGC 1278, Perseus, magnitude 12.4, probably this one here. 1.4 by 1.1 arc minute. It's elliptical 2 with peculiarities. It is being disturbed by gravitational influences. I don't know what's causing this. Oh, I think it's probably because I progressed. Magnitude 12.4, 1.4 by 1.1, elliptical 2 with a P, 278 million light years distant, means about 100,000 light years in diameter. RA 31954 with a declination of plus 413348. I'm going to give us another view of this one since we got some streakage. Okay, here's that 150x view featuring Galaxy NGC 1278, which I believe might be this one here or possibly that one there. AdventuresInDeepSpace.com. Here we go with NGC 1279, another galaxy is part of that group, and Perseus, magnitude 15.8.6 by 0.4 arc minutes, simply listed as a spiral. No other designation. RA 31958, declination plus 412846. I recommend you also go to theskylive.com and look up this galaxy group. I guess it was 12, I would look under 1276, 77, whatever, and you should be able to see them all within the full moon 30 arc minute size field of view. Reoriented from this one here, but I can see at least, I don't know, maybe 10 galaxies in this field. Continuing with our Perseus Galaxy group, we're now off to NGC 1281, magnitude 13.3. 0.4 by 0.4 arc minutes, quite small, elliptical class 5, highly condensed, 196 million light years distant. Seems like most of them are falling within 30 or 40 million light years of each other. RA is 32006 with a declination of plus 41, 37, 46. Have a look and see if you can find NGC 1281, magnitude 13.3, but very small and face on. Okay, another little nudge further to the east for NGC 1282, magnitude 12.9, Galaxy and Perseus, 1.4 by 1.1 arc minute. That's about the right size for roughly 13 magnitude galaxy. Elliptical class 1, so almost perfectly spheroidal. 98 million light years distant puts this way as a line of sight before the Perseus Galaxy group. RA 32012 with a declination of plus 41.22 seconds. Okay, I allowed NGC 1282 to center up that galaxy in Perseus. It looks like the sky is degrading a little bit. There are high, thin clouds. Anyway, so it should be probably right in this region here. Remember, it's magnitude 12.9, possibly that one, maybe that one. In the same region of space, and as part of the group, is NGC 1283, Galaxy Perseus, magnitude 13.6, 0.7 by 0.6 arc minute, elliptical class 1, may very well be that one there. 305 million light years distant, so another 30 or so million light years beyond. RA is 32015 with a declination of plus 412353. In a second or so, I will show you where the scope has shifted to reveal 1283. So here's the field of view for NGC 1283. Could be this one. This one looks a little faint, but it could be 13.6, could be that one. Once again, go online, learn how to galaxy sleuth using adventuresindeepspace.com or theskylive.com. I believe NGC 12 1293 takes us outside the galaxy group a little ways in Perseus, magnitude 13.4, 0.9 by 0.9 arc minutes. I may be mistaken. Elliptical up 0. 190 million light years distant. RA 32126 with, there seem to be quite a few galaxies present here too. Might be quite extensive. With a declination of plus 41, 23, 33. NGC 1294 is in the same field. I'll do the little hoppy skippy thing in a second. Magnitude 13.2. 1.5 by 1.3 arc minute lenticular spiral, 299 million light years distant, RA 32140 with a declination of plus 41, 2136. We've gotten 13 stacks, and it's still stacking, which means it's pretty much lined up with both galaxies at this point, 1293 and 1294. Okay, I want to let you know that I've gone through some 22 galaxies as part of this Perseus group of galaxies. This is the fine view right here at 75x, nice tight stars. You can see some galaxies spread across the field. The earlier group was way down here, further to the west, and now we've got our more eastern group of galaxies there. I think we've done a pretty good job of working around the problem of the roof tries and the fact that everything due north is culminating and could easily be blocked aperture-wise. Now it's time to mostly go on to Eridanus, some in Cetus, and a couple in Fornax for the rest of the studies. Once again, there were 22 galaxies, and I believe there are 20 further south for us to go after now. All right, we begin at NGC 1253, 1251, and 2 were both anomalous, bogus studies. NGC 1253, I'm hoping, is this nice edge-on galaxy right there. Beautiful. In Eridanus, magnitude 11.7, makes sense. Let's check out that aspect ratio, 5.3 to 2.3 arc minutes in size. Let's begin with this 150x view. Spiral with a bar, lowercase c, so not much of a core. 73 million light years distant puts it at about 110,000 light years in diameter, larger than Milky Way, which I believe is somewhere around 90,000, by the way. Right ascension is 3:14:09. Declination is minus 2 degrees, 49 minutes and 22 seconds. Since we're further south, I might as well play with the histogram a little bit, darkening it up. There is our 150x view and our more artistic 75x view of NGC 1253. Okay, to be clear, NGC 1253 has an A, and typically the A's are very close to the original galaxy. This one's magnitude 14.3. I am not seeing it here. I'll have to do some, but maybe there's something faint right in this region here. It's 1.7 by 1 arc minute. You know what? It could be this extension right here that's actually in alignment with the core. Let's see what its aspect ratio is. 1.7 by 1, spiral with a bar with peculiarity, so it is interacting gravitationally. 82 million light years distant from our own galaxy. Right ascension is 3:14:23 with a declination of minus 2:48:01. Ooh, NGC 1254 is looking all speckly. I wonder if maybe I didn't turn on noise reduction. Well, I just turned it on now. Anyway, NGC 1254, Galaxy Cetus, magnitude 14.1, 0.8 by 0.7 arc minute, lenticular spiral, some 511 million light years distant, puts it about the size of Messier 31, maybe, just maybe, a little smaller. And I am going to play with the histogram because remember, I've learned that once you play with the histogram, it pretty much doesn't do any auto-histogrammic for you. And or flip up. Although I can adjust things using, I may have to play with this offline. Hold on. Okay, I mentioned it's 511 million light years distant, RA 3:14:23 with a declination of plus 2 degrees, 40 minutes and 39 seconds. Let's push it up just so we can get a view of a 14.1 magnitude galaxy just above the celestial equator, and I'm seeing something right about there. Whoa, we're going down into the furnace now. Maybe I shouldn't have played with the histogram. It does a better job of auto setting itself. NGC. Oops, I screwed something up. I have 125. Let me pause for a second and adjust the histogram once again. Alrighty then, NGC 1255 is a galaxy in Fornax, the furnace. Bright though, and we're not seeing much of it. Magnitude 10.9, 4.2 by 2.7 arc minutes. Let's see if we can find the core of this sparred spiral lowercase bc, 75 million light years distant. That's our maximum magnification. I have no idea where it'll turn up in the field because I did a slight realignment. There seems to be a galaxy there, but there's no other hints of its possible location on the screen. Okay, NGC 1256 is that galaxy hidden behind the brightest part of the diffraction from a power line. It's a galaxy in Eridanus, magnitude 13.6. All you're really going to do is get some data here. 1.1 by 0.4 arc minutes, spiral of a lenticular class with a bar. 190 million light years distant. RA 31358 with a declination of minus 21, 59 of 11. Zooming in for no good reasons whatsoever. NGC 1257 had a neighbor, a Galaxy 1258 in Eridanus, magnitude 13.3, 1.3 by 0.9 arc minutes. Spiral with a bar, lowercase c, 63 million light years distant, pretty small, maybe 25,000 light years in diameter. RA 31405 with a declination of minus 21, 46, 28. NGC 1262 is a little further north, but that didn't help because the diffraction bar is there. There's several power lines back behind our house here. The galaxy in Eridanus, magnitude 14.2, 0.9 by 0.7, spiral with a lowercase c. It says 1,548 million light years distant. Often that is quite bogus, especially for a lowercase c galaxy. That would put this at maybe 500,000 light years in diameter. Research is required. RA is 31533, declination minus 155248. I am not the only one to fumble finger when it comes to playing with a keypad, and I suspect that's what happened here. Okay, despite my thin silk gloves, my musician hands are really getting quite frozen here. It's now 6:26. We've been into this for over a half an hour plus. This is NGC 1263, if we can make it out. Galaxy in Eridanus. There's something faint and fuzzy right about there. Let's see what this is. Magnitude 15, so yeah, it would be difficult. 0.7 by 0.6 arc minutes, spiral with a bar. Lenticular A, still should have a bright core. 419 million light years distant. That's pretty distant. RA 31539 with a declination of minus 1505, 55. There is our field to the best of our ability, and that's probably our main galaxy right there. Okay, I've got 12 stacks now. That's making it a little bit more obvious, isn't it? Okay, I wanted to go back to auto stacking. It was getting to be problematic, so I relaunched ASI Live. NGC 1266, a galaxy in Eridanus, magnitude 14, 1.6 by 1 arc minute, lenticular spiral, 95 million light years distant. Right ascension 316 with a declination of minus 22537. Let's see if we can pick it out. Something faint and fuzzy there. Magnitude 14 should be brighter than that, however, but the sky could very well be deteriorating. Here it looks more like maybe not. Research required. Okay, I thought I'd tell you about this one. It's way far south. NGC 1269 Galaxy Eridanus even. It's also NGC 1291. Look it up. It's magnitude 8.5, 9.7 by 8.4 arc minutes, spiral with a bar of the lenticular class A with a ring, 34 million light years distant, probably about 110,000 light years in diameter. Right ascension 31718 with a declination of minus 410628. Do look on the skylive.com for this beauty. Okay, the clouds are thickening up now, and I've got to go through the rest of these and just give you raw data. Maybe I'll grab some of the Sky Live images. NGC 1280 Galaxy Cetus, magnitude 13.4, 0.9, 0.8, spiral with a bar, lowercase c, 307 million light years distant. RA 31757 with a declination, minus 10 minutes and 11 seconds. I am still not getting any stacks. 33 ignored. Let's move on. Okay, I've moved on to ASI image since it will actually display something of the sky instead of looking for stacked triangles. We're off to NGC 1284 Galaxy Eridanus, magnitude 14, 1.7 by 1.6 lenticular spiral, 401 million light years distant, RA 31745, declination minus 1017. 20. I'm going to go back to the previous one for that. Here, by the way, is the field of view in Perseus at this point. I've centered on NGC 1283 since I couldn't remember. There was so much skippage going on. But what you're looking at here is a non-stacked ASI image feature that comes along with the studio. ASI Studio. So I'll give you an idea of what it's like overhead. It's definitely better than what is further to the south, despite the fact we may be getting some reflectivity off the roof try. Anyway, let's go on to 1285. Interestingly, ASI Air gives you continuous images. It does no stacking whatsoever. So this is basically what you get with a single stack of an image. However, it's continuously overlapping. We're looking for NGC 1285 Galaxy Eridanus, magnitude 14, 1.5 by 1.1 arc-minute, spiral with a bar and a ring, 233 million light years distant, RA 31753 with a declination of minus 71753. I do not expect the sky to get any better than it has already been and is now. NGC 1287 is another galaxy in the river, Eridanus, magnitude 14, 5.8 by 0.7 arc-minute, spiral with a lowercase a, 383 million light years distant, probably about the size of our Milky Way, some 90,000 light years in diameter, maybe a little larger, RA 31833 with a declination of minus 243.51. Time now is 6:41. I've shifted over the screen now so it's wider. ASI image puts a wider screen up than ASI live, so I've shifted over to it inadvertently by closing out the snipping tool, but it makes a lot of sense that I've done it. NGC 1289 Galaxy Eridanus, magnitude 12.6, 1.8 by 1.1 arc-minute lenticular spiral, 126 million light years distant, maybe 75,000 light years in diameter, RA 31849 with a declination of minus 158.23. Okay, down further south with the diffraction from the power line, NGC 1290 Galaxy Eridanus, magnitude 15.4, small, as you might expect, 0.5 by 0.4 arc-minute spiral, 113 million light years distant. That puts it at about somewhere around 40,000 light years in diameter. RA 31925 with a declination of minus 1359.23. Well, I thought I'd show you the field. There's a couple of stars visible of NGC 1269, aka 1291, that really large bright galaxy in Eridanus. Magnitude 8.5, 9.7 by 8.4 arc-minutes, spiral with bar, lenticular A with a ring, 34 million light years distant, RA 31718, declination minus 4106.28, usually well outside my field of interest. Okay, NGC 1292, at least this field has a few more stars. It's a galaxy in Fornax, magnitude 12.1, 3 by 1.4 arc-minute, spiral with a lowercase c, 61 million light years distant, maybe 50,000 light years in diameter, RA 31814 with a declination of minus 2736.38. NGC 1295 is another galaxy in the river, magnitude 15.9 by 0.5 arc-minute, simply listed as a spiral, 220 million light years distant, maybe 65,000 light years diameter, RA 32003, declination minus 1359.53. NGC 1296, galaxy in Eridanus, magnitude 14, 1.1 by 0.9 arc-minute, spiral with a lowercase ab, distant 417 million light years, probably about 130,000 light years in diameter, RA 31849 with a declination of minus 1303.45. I was hoping we could make this one out. It's brightish. NGC 1297 Galaxy Eridanus, magnitude 11.8, 2.3 by 1.9 arc minutes. It's an elliptical tube, 68 million light years distant. RA 31914, declination minus 1906, and arc seconds. I thought for a moment I made something out right about in this region here. Well, there's some improvement here. I'm seeing a galaxy there, maybe there, and there was something over here initially. Anyway, we're further north. NGC 1298 Galaxy in Eridanus, magnitude 14, 1.5 by 1.3 arc minutes, and elliptical class 1, 291 million light years distant, RA 32013 with a declination of minus 20649. Let's go and have a look at that 1299. I believe it was in Perseus before we have another look at Jupiter now that it's ascended a little bit further to the east. As it turned out, there is one more galaxy in the river, NGC 1299. And I will give you the data, and then maybe I can remember one of the galaxies in Perseus so we can get a final look. As I mentioned, NGC 1299, it seems like there's a galaxy right about there in Eridanus, magnitude 14, 1.2 by 0.6 arc minutes, spiral with lowercase b, so it's got a faintish core with an aura, 103 million light years distant, maybe 40,000 light years in diameter, RA 32009, declination minus 61542. Well, instead I went to NGC 1334, Galaxy in Perseus, magnitude 13.1, pretty representative of the galaxy group, 1.5 by 0.7 arc minutes, spiral with the bar lowercase c, 193 million light years distant, RA 33001, declination plus 414956. You can see the sky doesn't look particularly good. A good experiment would be to go back to ASI Live and see what it looks like. That's going to take some finagling, but I'm going to give it a shot anyway. Okay, here's our 6 stacks at 30% E-zoom, 45x. You can see the field is now extended well off to the right because we don't have as many controls in ASI Air. The galaxy NGC 1334 is now quite apparent because of the number of stacks, which would make sense. Magnitude 13.1, 1.5 by 0.7 arc minutes, spiral of the bar, lowercase c, 193 million light years distant, RA 33001, declination plus 414956. It was an interesting experiment. Definitely stacking gives you better views. Okay, here's a 300x view of an overbright Jupiter with 2 of its satellites quite visible there. I'm going to go ahead and switch over now to a much shorter time frame exposure, see if we can make out those belts. Well, alrighty then, definitely a better view of Jupiter and the belts with some sense of crenulations along the edges. This is even through F4 El Quattro at some 300x. I could play with the exposure time a little bit. Let me do that. Okay, I set the exposure time to 891 microseconds with a gain of 388, about midway, slightly right in the field. Not a bad view. Surprisingly good view. The optics must be quite good in fast F4 El Quattro 150 millimeters. And of course, Jupiter is not very well progressed, maybe 30-35 degrees above the north eastern horizon. With that, I'm going to say carpe optim.